Welcome to the Backseat Thriver podcast. I'm Christina Johnston.
And I'm Bridget Kostas.
And we really think you guys should listen because we think we're pretty funny.
We are pretty funny.
Yeah.
We're unfiltered. It's real. It's sometimes what you need to hear.
Sometimes what you don't.
But tune in.
Tune in. That was good.
That works.
Woohoo! Welcome. Happy Friday.
Good morning, besties.
I have to say, I liked that. That
You
was
liked
good.
I threw that in there?
BSTs. We're bringing it.
BST,
We're
Backseat
bringing it.
Thriver. You're
That's
my
right.
bestie.
You're my bestie.
Hey, listeners, you're our besties.
They are. I mean, unless we don't like them, then.
Unless they don't like us.
Yeah. Well, then they wouldn't be listening, you know?
This is true.
Do you know what else? Speaking of things I love.
What?
This weather. It's rainy and cold.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh, I love it.
It's weird. What were we, like in the 80s last week?
Yes.
And then boom, wait a minute, it's raining. We don't get rain in Arizona.
I know. It makes me want to read.
Nope. Not at all. Makes me want to Netflix and binge.
Okay, well that too. Yeah. I think that's what I'm going to go do after this. I'm so excited.
That sounds good. Can I just say, hello, Tucsonans? Can we please learn how to drive in something other than sunshine?
Right. Get with it.
Don't know how to drive in anything other than sunshine.
Well, we're pretty notorious for having the absolute worst drivers. I think so. My sister who lives in Phoenix, one of the reasons she will not move home is she's like, I can't stand the drivers. She's like, I don't think I would be a good person living there. I'd be just ugly all the time.
A road rager.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Totally. And this morning, so I really embarrassed my son because I'm driving him to school and there was a Maserati next to us. So I start revving the engine and I was like, let's race him. And I'm in our
what are you driving?
I'm driving our daughter's Toyota Corolla. And
so it's not like you're in your awesome Raptor.
No. And I was like, hey buddy, what do you think if I try to race this Maserati? And he goes, Mom, please don't embarrass me. And I was like, why would that embarrass you? Like, let's see what this car can do. My kid has named her car Greg, which I'm like, Greg? And she's like, yeah, short for Gregarian. What? Okay. So
Gregarian?
Yeah.
She wait, what are the Gregarians? That's hold on. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Targaryens.
What's that?
I'm thinking of Game of Thrones. Never mind.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Continue.
Okay. So
you've never seen Game of Thrones?
No, it's so violent is what I hear. That stuff stresses me out. Isn't it really bloody and gory and violent?
It's amazing. There's dragons. It's a love story. It's okay. So some of the love story is a little incestual. Some of it is not.
Okay, Bridget.
Yes, I mean we're set back in the ages of dragons. So are there swords? Are there beheadings? Yes, there are.
Oh.
Yes.
Is there incest? Yes, there is.
Yes,
why not?
Keeping the bloodline pure. Come on now. It doesn't get better than Game of Thrones, but it's a commitment.
See, I'm not sure I'm emotionally available for that right now.
It's definitely a commitment.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about commitment. So Today's episode, we are going to be talking about what's harder to commit to than losing weight.
I don't know, but I did not meet my goal this morning with breakfast. Oh man, I had the best breakfast. I didn't get to finish it.
I mean, oh shoot, that's right. Well, yeah, we were a little behind schedule this morning.
So as we're talking about weight loss, my morning breakfast was a California omelet with a side of hash browns and a biscuit with gravy. But this is like 3 meals worth. Like I can split this up into thirds and eat this as a breakfast for the next 3 days.
Exactly.
I mean, I got my dollars.
You're fine. You're fine. It'll be delightful. Okay, so
and I don't feel guilty at all.
See, that is even better. And right? I think that our expert today is going to really it starts with an A, the word I'm looking for, and it's like acknowledge. It's not acknowledge, affirm you in that, because she said earlier, food is fuel. So we're gonna dive into
is. I
food
agree.
being fuel. We're gonna be talking about all things weight loss, exercise. We're gonna go down some rabbit holes about big pharma. So buckle up because today is gonna be really fun. So I'm really excited to introduce our guest. She is a board certified family nurse practitioner. Welcome, Sara. Let's Shay, can we get a visual? Oh.
Hi.
Thank you, Shay, for the hype music. That was perfectly timed. So Sara has been in the medical field for 10 plus years. She was in emergency medicine as in her wee early days as an RN. And then she just kept going up and up. And now she, as I said, BC baby, board certified.
Let's go.
Yep.
So we have an expert today.
We haven't. It finally doesn't have to be you and I saying, like, just eat some bacon and home fries, and you'll be good to go.
Love the Atkins diet.
Yep.
Nothing but meat.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Sara, thank you for being here. We're so excited to have you on today and really have an expert help us with all things medications, weight loss, conspiracies. I mean, we're going to dive in.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right. So, there's so many directions that we can start. Bridget, is there one?
I do have one direction I'd like to start with.
Okay, let's do this.
Sara, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And so we don't have to listen to Christina for the rest of the show.
Sure. So, great intro. I appreciate it. I'm a nurse practitioner. I work full time with geriatrics. I love my geriatric patients. And then I work part time at a local weight loss clinic. So, we do a lot of work with GLP-1s like Ozempic, tirzepatide, as well as oral medications. And then we do offer, some natural medications as well for those who don't qualify for the stimulants or, the GLP-1s. So
beautiful. Well, it's such a hot topic lately. So I'm kind of excited. I mean, you've got all this firsthand. You're going to kind of give us the skinny on.
No pun intended. We're going to chew the fat and talk about the skinny.
Wait, I actually put that in our intro. We're going to chew the fat.
Oh, let's go.
We're so lame.
Okay, so when we're talking about like the 90s slang, so of course you watched our last podcast,
yes.
Didn't you, Sara?
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, we need to be with the lingo of our new generation, but that was something that we used to say was, we're going to go chew the fat. That means we're going to go hang out and talk shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, hey,
I've never heard of that one.
Well,
You're
you
too
guys
young.
are not in my generation.
Well, I am sort of now.
Not.
I mean, it's okay.
You're in my genre.
We share the same first number. Doesn't that make you feel
We do,
closer to me?
for just a little while.
Okay. Yeah, you're
It's
right.
the F, because you're my friend.
Oh,
Anyways,
I didn't know we were going that direction.
I
Okay.
said the F word.
You sure did. Okay, so Sara, let's start a few stats that I thought were. I mean, I think that we all know. I mean, when people talk about America, it's like we are the fattest country. We are the most disgusting country with our portion sizes, with the crap that we put into our bodies, with all of the fake food dyes, the FDA non-regulation on so much stuff that we consume. Exactly.
Everything.
Would love to get your opinion on sort of the state of that, but knowing that 40% of adults in America are obese. 40%.
So not only 40% of adults in America are obese. When I was looking at this, 49% of just the female population perceive themselves as overweight.
Yeah.
So 50% of us here think that we're overweight.
Even if you're not.
And 40% are correct.
Right.
So I'm glad that at least there's 40% awareness.
1 in 3 adults are overweight.
That I believe. Put your hand down. You're beautiful.
Beautiful. Be kind to yourself.
I am kind to myself, and I own it. I own it.
Whatever.
I'm
All right,
in
Sara,
it.
hit us.
Yeah, so we are, even globally, we're overweight, we're obese. 382 million people globally have type 2 diabetes, which is caused by metabolic syndrome, and it can be prevented. So being, overweight, your diet, if you're not exercising, that can all lead to diabetes, which can in turn lead to issues with eyes, heart, skin, because sugar, that's a big thing with diabetes. Sugar loves bacteria, and bacteria loves sugar. So, you get issues with your skin. It's a chronic disease, and it can be prevented. So, and then yes, 1 in 5 people are obese in America, and 2 in 5 children are obese in America right now.
Hold on. Take a pause. Repeat those stats, because I think that what you just said, and especially about the kids, that makes me so sad. Say that again.
So 1 in 5 adults are obese in America, and 2 in 5 children are obese in America. So that's our youth that we're, giving food to that is going to cause, obesity. And I think with the sedentary lifestyle that children now have, it's just going to keep getting worse. And the really sad part about it is that it's preventable. Type 1 diabetes, it's a very small percentage in that 382 million people that have type 1 diabetes, which is something that you can't control. You have issues with your organs. You have to have insulin. It doesn't create, your pancreas doesn't create enough insulin. So, but type 2 can be prevented. So
I've definitely noticed like there is, and rightfully so, but when people have type 1, you hear them explain like, this is not type 2. This is not, it is type 1. That is the kind I was born with, just so you're not looking at me with a side eye of like, maybe you should put down the milkshake or something.
Right. Well, and a lot of type 1 diabetics, they're not overweight. They're frail because their blood sugar goes up and down and up and down. They're, that's not the cause. So,
and it is, as you're sitting here and we're talking about youth, when you think of just our lifestyle, when you think of our lifestyle right now in the United States, there are so many more single parents. There are so many more single working parents. And when you think of how hard it is to come home, you pick up your child from after school, and and it's after work, maybe it's after care, it's 6:00, and you need to, get the after 5 life going, and that's cooking, that's getting homework done. So I think that a lot of us, we crutch on the quick and easy meals. And you go to the grocery store right now, and it is, when you look at apples versus applesauce, when you look at grapes versus grape juice, the cost of produce, the cost of healthy food is exponentially higher than the junk. And when you think of a lot of these families that are on a single income budget, you don't have a choice.
Right.
You would love to be able to provide your child with that. And now couple that with the new sedentary adolescent behavior. I mean, kids don't even want to go out and play on the playground anymore.
No.
It's like, just seriously, one of my son's friend's parents is a middle school teacher, and she said, we can't get the kids to go outside. They're like, when can we go in, miss? When can we go in? When's the bell gonna ring? It's too hot outside. It's too sunny. I didn't bring my glasses. I didn't have a hat. They're thinking of every excuse to get inside. And that will, be part of these statistics in the soon to near future, when you are not prioritizing that type of lifestyle and care and activity at such a young age, and we're shackled, and it's not going to get any better when it comes to groceries. It's going to get worse. It's gross.
It's gross.
It is gross.
So Sarah, when a typical patient walks in to your clinic and you kind of start from the beginning, talk us through a little bit what that looks like. I mean, how do you set realistic goals? How do you help kind of determine the right path for people who are coming and saying, okay, I need help?
So I always talk about, what's your lifestyle now? What's your diet now? And then what are your goals? What's your long-term goal and what's your short-term goal? we really pay attention to body mass index. So if you have a body mass index of 25 or less, which is where they take your height over your weight and it spits out a number, and that's the normal of what we're supposed to be. And if they're, above a certain amount, so if they're above 25 or, then they're slightly overweight, they're obese, they're class 1, class 2, we kind of talk about options. So like I said, there's the phentermine, there's the injectables. I go over all the, contraindications, the symptoms, the side effects. And then we kind of come up with a plan. I really like to not overwhelm my patients because it's very, very easy to do that because we're talking diet, exercise. We're talking about changing your whole entire life in this 30-minute appointment. So I like to just break it down. Okay, so you struggle with nutrition. Let's really focus this week on nutrition and getting enough protein in. I want you to write all your food down for me. And then next time you come in, we can really focus on exercise because I think as Americans are very all or nothing because everything is right at our fingertips. So some people work my best friend, she works all or nothing. She says she's going to run a marathon tomorrow. She's going to run a marathon tomorrow. I don't work that way. And I don't think a lot of other humans work that way. So when you get these people in here, they want instant gratification, but they don't want to put the work in. And that's not everyone, right?
That's definitely me.
It is. And that's most Americans.
Right. And it used to be me too. And it's a mindset like this. You have to put your, physical body into work. You have to change your diet, but it's a lifestyle and it's a mindset. It's discipline. Being kind to yourself, that's a huge, huge thing because it's negative self-talk, right? Like, okay, I said I was going to go to the gym 5 days this week. I only went 2. So now I'm just going to throw off my whole entire schedule. Now I'm going to binge eat and I'm not going to do anything. And then it's a spiral, right? So I really try to teach my patients that that's not what it is. You don't have to start working out on Monday. Like you don't have to move your body for an hour when you're just starting to work out. Move your body for 10 minutes because it's something that you wouldn't have done before.
I like how you mentioned that that positive mindset, be kind to yourself. In a lot of what you read or what you hear about obesity and people that are struggling with their weight, a lot of it is psychological. Mm-hmm. A big component of it in many cases is trauma.
Right.
And how do you react to trauma? How are you starting, are you, when you get stressed, do you stress eat? Mm-hmm. When you get upset, do you eat? And is food part of that coping mechanism?
Right.
So when you're having these discussions with your patients, how important is that behavioral aspect? And if they're not already being talking through those types of opportunities to better their mental well-being, like what is it that you work with them on in those spaces?
Bridget, that is so huge what you just said. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to hear all about the mental health aspect of that because that I think that is the biggest roadblock for everyone. And if it's not, then you're a freaking hero.
Right.
So quick break. We'll be right back.
For over 30 years, Raina and the family at Shish Kebab House have been serving Tucson's best Mediterranean cuisine. Located on Broadway across from Park Place, Shish Kebab House features a scratch kitchen mixing Jordanian favorites with all the best from the region. Want to try Tucson's best hummus and multabal? Go to Shish Kebab House. Other favorites are shawarma, stuffed grape leaves, crispy falafel, and of course, the best kebabs in town. Your choice, dine in or order takeout. Preview Shish Kebab's menu at shishkebabhousetucson.com.
All right. So, Sara, we're talking about mental health as you're kind of starting this journey. Would you say that is really the first step in this? Like you have to get your mind right, but because you can't just, okay, I'm going to the gym. Like you have to prepare yourself that this is what's happening.
Yes. And I think a part of my job is accountability. So they feel accountable when they come to see me. And I always start with, I'm never going to make you feel bad about your choices, yourself. anything. I never want to make you feel like you're on a diet. That's a really big thing that I talk to my patients about, because the word diet has a negative connotation. It's not maintainable. It's not sustainable. It's not fun. I mean, I've had patients come in that say, I didn't, my kids made me this birthday cake, but I didn't eat it because I felt guilty. Guess what? Birthdays come around every single year. So eat the cake. Eat 2 or 3 pieces of cake, everything in moderation, right? So yeah, big like mental health and just, being their cheerleader, but also, giving them that accountability and that safe space to tell me, like, I hate myself, or I get down on myself, or I stop coming because I was embarrassed because I stopped coming and I didn't want to restart. So the mindset is all about that. And I've gone through this. I started a fitness journey 2 years ago, and I met an incredible trainer. Shout out to Carla. And she literally just changed my life. So, because I was in that negative headspace, I was in that all or nothing space, and it's not a good space to be, and you're not going to be successful. So, mental health is a huge thing, and just the generation that I think a lot of us young women have grown up in, it's Victoria's Secret models. It's starving yourself so that you look skinny, but like skinny is out, right? And I don't really think it ever should have been in. Healthy is in, and it should have always been that way. So just trying to get people to get out of that mindset it's my favorite part of the job, and feeling confident.
Okay, I love what you said about skinny is out, because, sometimes I'll be honest. Sometimes I don't want to see everything I've seen. I was walking down University the other day, and the clothes that some of these girls were wearing, I'm like, look, body positivity, rah, that's great. Let's do that. But like, I'm not sure I need to see all of that. So maybe you can put your butt cheeks and your tatas away, because I'm not interested.
That goes on both sides, though.
What do you mean? Butt? Are you talking about the butt?
That goes on both sides. No, I think, as quickly as we can sit here and we can, obviously our show is about weight loss and the perception of it. And, I love what Sara just said. It's not about being skinny. It's about being healthy. Mm-hmm. But there are also people that, that deal with eating disorders, that have anorexia, and that they are not healthy, and they have this perception. So I think, when we're, before we cut to the break, when I'm talking about the emotional component, the trauma, and how we either overeat or we don't eat, and how we react to things, I think that in a lot of these scenarios, you're either overweight because of this emotional issue, or you're underweight because of this emotional issue. And I think that maybe that's another topic for another day. But I think when we look at body positivity and we think like, okay, you shouldn't be showing me your butt, little college girl. There are some women where you're like, you shouldn't be showing me your butt, old lady. Where it goes both ways. Yeah. And I think,
wait, you're not talking about me, right?
Yes.
It was the shorts.
My God, I'm so glad you finally got that reference. What I was talking about is when you wore the booty shorts the other day, Christina. That was awful. That was awful. I was like, we are not going to play dodgeball in that outfit. And you're like, please, can we?
This was really personal, a lot more hurtful than I thought it would be.
No, but I think it's really important, like, as we're talking about that behavioral, that emotional component, it can go... it impacts us on both ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely. 1,000%. And that's, for me personally, I had an issue with undereating, because you get stressed, right? Like, you get stressed, and being a nurse, number one, there's always crap around in the emergency room, and you're so busy taking care of other people that, there's crumbled cookies sitting on the counter. You shove a cookie in your mouth, and then, you go on about your day. And we have this perception too, that if you don't eat, you lose weight. That's not true. No. Your body needs that fuel, specifically a lot of protein. And I know that you guys kind of touched on this on previous podcasts, but again, food is fuel. So if you are not fueling your body, number one, you're going to feel like crap. You're not going to lose weight. You're going to lose your muscle, and your body stores that fat. I kind of think of it like as a bear. When a bear goes into hibernation, he eats, but then he starves. He's living off that fat, but he's not gonna, you're not gonna lose weight. You will plateau. And that's another thing I really educate my patients about, because they get on these meds and they're like, well, I'm not eating, but I'm not losing weight. Well, you're not eating because your body doesn't have anything to fuel. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing that I really educate my patients about is food is fuel. And even if you're not hungry, you have to eat. And so I really do tell my patients every 2 hours, and I do this myself. I prep, and it's not even prepping. It's Greek yogurt. It's, I like the Chomps meat sticks. It's, a quick Kodiak cake that you can just chop up and eat on the go. Protein shake, protein bar, all that kind of stuff. And every 2 hours I am eating something like that, because it keeps me full, keeps me fueled, and you build muscle when your body isn't even working out. So that's like kind of my little trick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bone broth. That's another thing. Like if you just want to be
bone broth, because I hear that word and I'm like, ew, I don't want to eat broth from your bones.
Well, now there's like face creams that, you put the beef fat on your face.
Tallow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't jumped into tallow yet. I tried to pretend like I was going to make some one day.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like there's like this whole movement on. I'm surprised it hasn't gone in your feed yet on your Instagram.
Well, it will now.
Yeah, it will. It's like the tallow and
it's like rendered beef fat, but it's clean, so it's not rancid. It's not, because they say a lot of seed oils, they burn them so high that they become rancid, and then we're putting those in our bodies, and it takes a very long time for our liver to clear those kind of seed oils. So tallow it's pure, right? It has a high cook point, so it doesn't get rancid. But people are using it on their face. I wouldn't
smell like a beef
stick. I know. I don't know if it has a smell.
I don't know
I've
why
never
all
used
these guys are hitting on me. It's because you smell like beef jerky, Sarah.
Smell like meat. Talk about the meat sweats. Let's be honest here.
This dog won't get his face out from my butt.
You're not supposed to put beef tallow on your booty hole.
Oh, wait a second. Actually, who told us that? Was that somebody said?
I don't know who
I
you're
was going to
talking
say, who says?
Oh my gosh. Somebody was saying, I have this in writing. Somebody was saying somebody put it in their butt, and it was, all right, we'll move on from
beef
that.
tallow on your booty.
Yes.
Okay.
It will come to me during this show and I will call this person out. Okay. So Sarah, give us the scoop, because medications are all the rage right now. You see the homemade signs everywhere about semaglutides, and it's like they're on every street corner. What do we need to know about this? When is that a good option for a patient? When is it not? And what do people need to know about this? Because it seems like everyone is doing them. And Bridget, you have a horrifying story, which you share in a minute. But give us the medical take on that.
Well, first of all, don't ever get semaglutide or a GLP-1 from someone who's selling it on a sign.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that right now. So yeah, these medications, they've been around about 20 years. They just got approved a couple years ago for weight loss. And there's only a couple of them, for weight loss, but they're mostly geared for diabetic patients. They help bring down your A1C, your sugars, and they help you lose weight, which in turn, does help with your sugars and your A1C, your diabetic. However, it is very much being misused in the world, or in the United States especially. How it works is so basically whatever you eat, it sits in your belly for an extended period of time before going into your digestive tract. So it delays your gastric emptying. So makes you feel fuller longer. With that comes side effects, though. It's not just all good and happy, because you're delaying everything. So you could have constipation, you could have nausea, vomiting, gastroparesis, which is paralysis of your stomach. and heartburn. So, if you usually eat pizza and you got heartburn, before you go to bed, you wake up, you feel fine. You could have that heartburn for 24 hours, but so it's a good medication. And I think that it's good for some people, right? Like the morbidly obese who can't move and they need to lose weight, and the diabetic patients, great for them. However, we are now in a society where we use it to lose weight when we really should be focusing on diet and exercise, because we don't know the long-term side effects of the med. It hasn't been on the market for weight loss for a very long. It's one of those things. It's a quick fix, like we've talked about, and people want it now. And you'll lose weight, pretty significant weight. Usually, it's I would say 1 to 5 pounds a week, but that's because you're not eating. And also, what happens when you stop taking the medication? Mm-hmm. You're going to get your appetite back, and then a lot of times you rebound and you gain the weight back plus some, because you're not building healthy habits. You're relying on the semaglutide. So,
and Sarah, we were having this discussion before this show and it's something that is happening in the United States more so than other areas of the world. And it's something, when we talk about big pharma and we talk about the treatment options that are out there, is we as a society are very quick to treat the symptom, not the issue.
Yep.
And as you're talking about how do we sustain this new, the weight loss, how do we maintain it? How do we sustain it? And how do we continue to build that healthy lifestyle and introduce new habits, because we need to treat the issue, not the symptom.
Exactly. And, looking back when I was a kid, they don't really teach you in school about nutrition, I guess, the food, the pyramid, or which they're finding that is not, that's not how it should be. But in school, when I went to nursing school, when I became a nurse practitioner, they teach you, throw a medication at this person. They don't teach you, why is this person having hypertension? Why does this person have high cholesterol? What can we do to coach them to lose the weight, to change their diet? It is. And the thing is sick people make money. So
I hate that so much, because as a human being, I won't take us too far off track, but when we were having this conversation, do you think a cure for cancer exists and big pharma is just keeping it under wraps because it is such a moneymaker? And as a human, I refuse to believe that. I absolutely refuse to believe that. But it's terrifying, things like this, where you're making billions of dollars, and it's well, shit, if we have a cure for this, we lose all that money.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it's the dark side of medicine. Like you said, we don't need to go down the rabbit hole with that one, but it's concerning. And I think it's just going to get worse, because they keep coming out with these things that, especially like this weight loss, everyone wants to be, skinny or, in shape, but they don't want to put the effort in.
Well, let me ask you this question. Why? Okay, so if this has been around for 20, you're saying that the GLP-1s have been around for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So they've been helping treat diabetes for 20 years. Do we know what's the difference between someone with diabetes and someone using it to lose weight? Have we seen the side effects?
No.
And you can't compare the two.
Well, and that's the problem, is that it hasn't been approved for weight loss for very long, 7-8 years. So we don't know, if you don't have diabetes, we don't know what the long-term side effects are.
Okay.
Right now it's positive. They're saying, it prevents obesity, or it helps with obesity, so it can help prevent those cancers that live off of ovarian cancer, colorectal cancer, a lot of breast cancers, a lot of female cancers, because fat cells thrive off of estrogen, and estrogen can cause, high estrogen levels can cause those cancers. So right now it's all good, because it's preventative, and it's helping those to not be caused, but we don't know if down the line, is it going to cause cancer? It has caused cancer, thyroid cancer in lab rats, but we haven't it hasn't been studied long enough for humans. So it can also cause pancreatitis, which is inflammation of your pancreas, which in turn can cause pancreatic cancer. So, what is it? What is the bigger picture here with all these people that are using it? Is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? We don't know.
See, that's terrifying. I feel like once you bring the rats into it, you're screwed. Like that's a pretty good indicator. That
were they male rats? Were they female rats? What are we testing on here?
Yeah.
But as
Bridget. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I'm not
interrupt
that
me.
sorry.
You're
I was going to
not.
interrupt
It's
you real
fine.
quick. Let's go to a quick commercial break.
Okay.
And then hold
you
your
keep cutting
thought.
me off. Like
I
this
know.
is the second time you
I
cut me
know.
off for a commercial break.
Could
Whatever.
maybe just like quit being so yappy.
Okay, fine.
All right.
All right.
Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and wait on the edge of your seat for Bridget's thoughts.
If she lets me talk.
It'll be
She's
the
so
last.
For over 30 years, Raina and the family at Shish Kebab House have been serving Tucson's best Mediterranean cuisine. Located on Broadway across from Park Place, Shish Kebab House features a scratch kitchen mixing Jordanian favorites with all the best from the region. Want to try Tucson's best hummus and multabal? Go to Shish Kebab House. Other favorites are shawarma, stuffed grape leaves, crispy falafel, and of course, the best kebabs in town. Your choice, dine in or order takeout. Preview Shish Kebab's menu at shishkebabhousetucson.com.
Dun, dun, dun. We're back. Bridget, take us
Finally.
to the next thought.
Gosh,
I'm
it's about time.
Sorry.
No, I wanted to share, like, when we're talking about our patients or our listeners that are interested in GLP-1s or interested in being treated by a medical professional like Sara and the other clinicians at the weight loss clinic, or having this discussion with their primary care physician or an obesity medicine provider. I think it's really important that it is, as we were sharing earlier, it's on every corner. There are billboards, there are Kinko signs being made about, I provide GLP-1 injections. I have semaglutide. We're going to do a semaglutide happy hour. like when it used to be that with Botox, it was like you couldn't get Botox anywhere, and now people are having Botox parties at their house. Like this could be that next phase, right? When you think of these types of injections, these types of introductions to this medication. And what I would love our listeners to just really sit back and think before they go online or they go across the border to get these medications, because it's not being covered here, is please, 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 please speak to your medical professional about this. As Sara was mentioning, there are some serious side effects that can happen if you have, if you're on other medications, if you're on, if you do have any other comorbidities, if maybe you don't need it. And I want to share a really scary story that I recently heard. There was a patient that was having the discussion with their physician and obesity medicine provider. And
this was very close to you, right? Like, I just want to make this clear. Like, this wasn't a 20th hand story. You were interviewing a physician and this was his patient. So this is very real.
This was very real. And their patient was going on a website to search for these medications because they're not covered by your insurance if you don't have diabetes. And in the United States, these medications are very expensive. And, this patient was getting them for their family, for themselves and their family. And they were going through a website, which they thought was reputable. When they had shared this with their provider, the provider, was looking at the fine print on this website. And at the very, very bottom in the super fine print, it said not to be used for human consumption. And this was something that this patient was consuming. and not only the patient, but their family. So when we talk about, these areas of importance and how you shouldn't just get these types of treatments off of the corner in the garage, from a friend, it is so incredibly important to have these conversations with a professional like Sara, or the other team members or your primary care physician. Don't just take it. You're seeing these on commercials. You can go to the new Hers and Hims, and they have medications that you can just order online. If you are doing that, pay attention to your body, listen to your body, and really make sure that if you are experiencing anything, that you are going to a medical professional. I'm not a medical professional. I can't sit here and say that this is what you should and shouldn't do, but we do have our expert here today. And I just wanted to share that for our listeners, that a lot of the things that that our society looks at as a quick fix, we have immediate access to them. Right. The internet will provide immediate access. You will, as soon as you start looking this up on your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, the algorithm will start, and you will be fed with every single option to buy this, these medical alternatives to a healthy lifestyle.
Right. Which is,
I'll stop talking.
But it's scary. It is. I think it's great.
Thank you, Sara. Shut up, Christina.
She has to say that. She has to be nice to you.
Yeah, no, it is. It's scary. It's scary to think. And when I think of how much money people are spending on these injections, whether they're getting it from their pharmacy and paying the thousands of dollars, which I've seen patients do that, getting it from a compounding pharmacy, which I'm not against a compounding pharmacy at all. That's what we've used in the past. That's what I've, used for people in the past as well. But you don't know what's in these other ones. The person who's on the street, you don't know. And with things from Mexico too, you don't know. There could be illegal drug. You don't know. So
there could be fentanyl in it.
Yeah, there could be.
It's in everything.
It is.
Depending on who you're getting it from.
Right.
Is it a legitimate establishment, or
let me tell you what I learned.
cousin?
Let me tell you what I learned yesterday. My son had his drug awareness day right at school. So they got to do that. For a whole day, they were bouncing from group to group to group. And I said, okay, well, what was the most interesting thing you learned? And he's 10. So he's like, well, we got to hear from this lady and she used to take fentanyl. And I was like, oh, I hate that you even know the word fentanyl, but okay. So we move on from that. And I said, so, did she tell you that only losers use drugs? And he was like, well, she was abused by her dad as a kid. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I feel like a jerk.
Gosh, you sure are stereotyping.
Gosh, Mom. So,
where are you going with this conversation?
She's giving the well, fentanyl's in everything, okay? Don't take drugs. And if I learned anything from my son yesterday, he was
don't take illegal drugs.
Don't take illegal drugs, okay?
Don't take drugs that aren't prescribed by your physician.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, maybe don't get off your mood drugs, Bridget. Yeah, you can be real sassy when you're not on them. JK, I don't actually know if you're on those.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Mood drugs?
I've been in your medicine cabinet. I've snooped through it.
I'm not microdosing. They say it's really good for you, though.
Do you know about microdosing?
Not as a squirrel.
Not really. Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm the same way. No, I have curious. Not done a lot of research on that, but I am too, because it's more of I feel like a natural,
right? Like mushroom microdosing.
Well, they were I was in my feed, in my algorithm.
Do you get the stuff?
I get everything. I get everything from the new special shoes to microdosing to dealing with emotional abuse, dealing with whatever, it all comes up.
Special shoes.
Yeah. Like orthotics because I'm old. Shut up. Because I have one leg longer than the other. Why are you judging? I'm trying to feel okay in my body.
I mean,
in my own space. Shut up.
Okay.
But it is. I was. Oh, now you've totally
now I flustered you. I like this. Me. I love when you get a little flustered.
Jerk.
I know.
Talking about women and stress and being able to focus. They were they were doing studies, and maybe this is for another show, about microdosing and how it impacts the health and wellness of women and how it enables us to like lower our cortisol levels, and you can focus, like everything, not everything, a lot of the things that I see now with organic proteins, they have adaptogens in them, or you see, if you're doing creamer alternatives, it has adaptogens, the lion's mane. And,
I like that word.
These
Sounds fancy.
I know,
It does.
it's cool.
Adaptogens.
Adaptogens.
I'm not even sure what that means.
We'll ask Sara.
What putting her? I mean, you said it, Bridget. I'd like to think that you know what you're saying.
I do.
Wouldn't that be funny if she was like, I actually have no idea what that means.
I don't know
just
what it
sounds
means.
cool.
I'm not gonna lie.
It just says it on the outside of my protein shake. With adaptogens and lion's mane, and it has all these great things, and it's calming. Like it's a very
So it works.
calming, effect on you.
I love it.
So that's my midday protein shake, and I'm like, I can focus.
You're gonna have to give me that.
I'm
the name of that one.
Okay, Bridget gave me a bag of super greens. Is that, or what was it called? Okay,
Super
and
Greens.
it was just like chalk spinach.
It was a great. Okay, so greens, they're not the easiest to consume.
I poured it in a glass and I was like, this looks so disgusting. I passed it
Do
to
you
my
ever
son.
drink greens?
No. And I said,
Well, there
here,
you
I
go.
made something for you. And he goes, that looks disgusting. I was like, dude, it's delicious. Just try a sip. I just wanted to trick him into trying it and see if it was really bad. He took a sip of it and he was like, "Bleh, bleh."
Like, how much water did you put into it?
A lot.
Like
I
a
read
fourth
the
of a cup?
directions. No, dum
Like
dum.
8 ounces?
Like at least 8 ounces, probably more.
Yeah, I like it more watered down.
Yeah. But I mean, I took a sip and was like, I couldn't choke it down. But you also take those pills from, like, you've done the natural stuff from the Chinese medicine doc.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't. I took one sip of that tea and.
You're so dramatic.
Oh, well, whatever.
You're
It was
so
really
drama.
gross. So, anyways, have you done the greens? Do you like
I
that
don't
stuff?
really. I don't really believe in the greens.
Oh, see, Bridget, look, a medical professional. You should.
I feel like you should just eat veggies because it's
True.
so dry. Like they
I don't disagree with
and,
you.
And this is just my opinion, and this is not medical. Because they dry it down so much that I feel like it loses the nutrients, and
Gosh,
then they
Bridget,
chop
just
it
eat some
up.
spinach.
So I
Shut
think
up,
sometimes
Christina.
I think it's a little bit of a gimmick. I don't know if maybe. If the Chinese medicine doctor gave it to you and
No.
is it
No,
just
so-
Target gave it to her.
No, I buy it online at a reputable place.
Not for human consumption.
Not for human
You're supposed to be feeding this to your turtle. What's wrong with you?
I'm supposed to sprinkle it on my dog's food. This is for my dog. So I do not consume that much.
Oh, dun
Good
dun.
food.
Oh, that's not
No,
true. I feel like you're.
I don't think that I mean, I don't eat arugula and beets and spinach and.
But you order the
algae
Popeye at breakfast, so I
and-
feel like that makes you strong.
I do.
It has
I do.
spinach
has
in it.
Spinach and green chilies. But I don't feel that I consume that much veggies
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis or fruit. I just don't. So it's my supplement.
yeah.
It's kind of like how you see everywhere that AG1 or whatever that new green drink
Gut
is.
health.
Yeah, the gut health thing. It has probiotics.
Yours has probiotics in it. So if it has probiotics, then I could justify that because probiotics are really good for you. So
She justified it.
yeah, I think probiotics are great for gut health. Fiber, I usually recommend to my patients if they have gut issues to just do a really good probiotic. I like a women's probiotic for women, and then you can do because it promotes urinary health and everything else like that. And then just a fiber, just a plain fiber because you don't, and not a capsuled fiber because that is something that your body has to break down even more. So I just like Benefiber,
powder.
just a powder that you can just put in your coffee that it's flavorless, doesn't have sugar. So that's what I would kind of lean toward more because when you think about greens, the frozen stuff, if that's all you have access to, then cool, get it in as much as you can. But I am not a huge advocate for greens. Like just fruits and veggies. If you want to eat it, eat it. But if you get fiber from that, you get vitamins, you get nutrients. But if you want to eat the salad, eat the salad. If you don't, then don't.
Come on, we're talking about the quick fix here, Sarah. Quick fix, my green
if
scoop.
If you like it and it makes you feel like, again, that's another thing. Like if that makes you feel like you're getting your greens in and you like it and it has probiotics, then do it, right? Like
Bridget,
it's not hurting you. So
Yeah, it's not hurting me.
Yeah.
Christina.
And the probiotics are helping you.
It's my mindset.
Yes.
Positivity.
Let's talk about your stomach elimination. Is it helping you, Bridget?
It does help you poop.
Okay. Well,
You get greens, you get
Fiber.
probiotics, you get your fiber. You're pooping on the daily, Christina.
you know, that could
And
be a
that's
whole
important.
episode.
Yeah. What? Tell us about your poop.
Tell us what your poop says about you.
That would be interesting. I
rendered you speechless.
I think that is a big deal. If there is one thing, as you're saying, that you should add to your diet, it's fiber. Fiber will help you in so many different ways.
It binds to everything. So when you think about it, if you get, in your intestines, you have these little pockets, and if they get inflamed, or if you eat like a lot of seeds and berries, diverticulitis, inflammation, infection. So the fiber binds to all of that stuff, and it bulks, but it's not going to make you constipated. It bulks, and it kind of just carries all that junk out of your colon. So that's why I like it, because it helps with constipation. You gotta drink water, though, otherwise it's gonna make you constipated. I also like colostrum. Colostrum is kind of a new thing that's hit.
What is this? I've been hearing about it.
So colostrum is what you find in breast milk,
Okay.
but they use bovine colostrum, so cow colostrum. And it's natural. I use one of them, and TMI, but before I was using it, poops weren't great. Now I take it every day, and it's made me regular. So that's another thing that I really, in my weight loss clinic patients, because again, these medications can cause constipation, I say get some colostrum and
Good to go.
Yeah, good to go.
Wow.
I've never even heard of that.
I'm shocked. I've heard of
it.
slapping bone marrow on your face, but not
Colostrum.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew
colostrum,
colostrum, like that's what, is when you give birth, that's what your breast excrete before your breast milk comes
that
in.
sounded so gross.
You're a mother. Shut up. Gosh, you're so immature.
The word excrete.
I need a new host. Can I get a new guest host? I mean, come on. It expresses.
Look,
It's
it's not personal against you. These are clearly my own issues, okay?
I know. You can't even order chicken breast at the grocery store.
Do you know this is true? Did I told you that story? I went up to the counter, and the kids love fried chicken. So once in a while, I am mother of the year, stepmother of the year, and I walked to the counter, and man, some of these were huge, and I was like, can I get 2 of the big ones? And he was like, the what? And I was like, the big ones. And he's like, the breasts? And I was like, that.
You're so awkward.
I know.
Can I have some of them big fried chickens?
Them big tots over there.
Those
called-
chicken
it's-
boobs.
Chicken boobs. Can I get some chicken breasts, please?
All right. This has been far too much fun. So I love how we're going to end our weight loss episode with chicken
breast,
tots.
fried chicken
fried chicken tots.
Sarah, do you have any final advice for our listeners that are interested in starting their weight loss journey?
Yeah, just it's all a mindset. Be kind to yourself. It's not all or nothing. The medications are there if you need help with cravings, overeating, snacking all the time, but don't depend on them. And you got to do a lot of the work yourself, but you can.
But
if
you can.
put your
But you
mindset
can.
to it. And and I promise it is worth it. 1,000%.
I believe it.
I believe it.
Bridget, maybe one day
100%.
it'll sink in for us. It's going to be worth
The
it.
mindset?
Well, all of it.
Well, I put a lot of good money at the restaurants into this body.
Well, I mean, hey, ROI, looking good.
I'm telling you, if I can keep myself at a nice, healthy weight, then I don't have to worry about a boob job. I don't have to worry about Botox. As long as I just keep that filler going.
That collagen, absolutely.
That collagen.
Your hibernation, your winter coat.
It's that good healthy balance. If you lose too much weight, the wrinkles start coming out as you get older.
That's a good
and you
point.
have to have a good healthy weight in case you get sick, at my age. I may end up being one of her geriatric patients here pretty soon.
Well, at least you know an expert to call.
I do. And you know what? I would love, Sarah, I would love for you to come on another time and share with us.
Bridget, these are supposed to be like discussions we have in private.
Oh,
before you
look,
just
I'm already
offer
getting
them.
a second offer. I haven't seen this from any guest yet.
Well, I want to learn more about the geriatric world. I think, as...
Because you're there?
There's so many things I want to say right now that I'm going to manage up here, and I'm going to be more professional than that, Christina.
Take the high road. I like it.
Rude to me. But as we get older, we have our aging parents. What does this look like as we get older, especially as Christina getting into her 40s now? What does she have to look forward to in her golden years? I would love to learn more about geriatric care and
That's
the senior
actually
living.
really good, interesting, Bridget. Good job. Good call on that one for what we need to know for this generation.
Mm-hmm. See?
Bravo, Bridget.
See, I'm taking one
You're
for the
brilliant.
team.
You're
I knew
brilliant.
you were going to go with me on this eventually.
I'll go with you anywhere.
Thank you.
I'll just, harass you along the way.
That's right. You can be my back seat.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. This was really interesting and super informative and fun.
I appreciate it. Thank you for being our expert today.
Yeah.
Loved it. And for our listeners that want to learn more about Sara, and if you want to share this podcast with your friends or anybody that is looking to start the journey to a better, healthier you, you can find us on Instagram at backseat.thriver. You can find us on our website at backseatthriver.com. And as always, you can find us where, Christina?
ltd.media on Instagram. Be sure to download their app. They have lots of cool stuff, obviously, including our podcast. So download it. And we are not in. The Thrivers are out next Friday. We're taking a day off. So we will have some great content that we'll be rerunning, but then we will be back with you live the following Friday.
Yes. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Thanks again, Sarah.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
Sarah.
having me.